I'm Kathleen Sherry. I am very happy that you chose to join me again, and I'm going to be reading my next chapter, chapter 6 of my book, Everyday Hero, which was published through Orca Publishers. So, chapter 6. I didn't see Megan until lunch. Actually, I hadn't expected to see her because I thought she might be suspended. But at lunch, I went to my favorite stairwell, the one that used to go up to the second floor in the old wing, but doesn't now that the upper floor has been closed and boarded up. Megan was leaning against the wall, eating a slice of bread without butter or peanut butter. Her hair hung forward, half covering her face. Megan often ate bread without anything on it. I liked this because that way it had no smell. "Why are you here?" she asked. "I come here every lunch," I said. "You do?" I nodded. Then I sat and took out my sandwich and started to eat it. It was quiet except for the noise of chewing and the sounds from the hallway. "You know," she said after I had finished my sandwich, "I don't know whether to be mad because you haven't even asked if I've been suspended, or glad that you're not nosy like everyone else." I didn't say anything because this was confusing. I counted the ceiling tiles. I am suspended, by the way. I knew that in school, suspended meant a student was not allowed to attend school because he or she was in trouble. For the fight? Duh. "Why did you hit Darren?" "I was mad." "Why?" I asked. "Are you for real? He was calling you names." "People often call me names," I said. "Yeah. I don't let people call my friends names." Friend. A person one knows well and is fond of. I pictured the word in the dictionary. I saw it in tiny bold print with the letter N, which stands for noun, in brackets. I counted 10 ceiling tiles. There are things I know are impossible for me. For example, I can't be a garbage collector, or a cook, or a lunch lady. At my old school, Haley McLeod had said that I'd never have a friend. That was 2 years ago on March 19th. "But I do," I told her. "Cameron, Ellie, and Shannon play with me every Wednesday at recess." She laughed. "You have a social group. The teacher bribes them with gold stars." "Do the teachers give you gold stars?" I asked Megan. "Huh? Do the teachers give you gold stars to sit with me on the bus and now?" "No," she said. "They'd freak if they knew I was here. I'm suspended." "So, no gold stars?" "Like I'd do something for a gold star." Then I felt like I had on the carousel, and like I do when I watch my ballerinas. My lips curved upward. "I like that you don't do things for gold stars," I said. Megan was on the bus later, even though she hadn't been in class. It was a different bus driver than this morning's. The bus was crowded, so we stayed silent until we'd gotten off and were walking across the parking lot. That's when Megan asked if she could stay overnight at my house on Friday. I was surprised that she would want to do this. I hate staying the night in a strange place. I hate hotels. I hate strange beds. I hate the way the blankets crackle with static. I hate finding the windows in the wrong place and the lights on the clock radio red instead of green. I asked Megan why she wanted to stay overnight. She laughed. I wondered why, because I hadn't made a joke. Your dad's quiet, she said. But Dad is not quiet. He shouts, particularly when the Canucks score, and he swears when they lose, although he tries not to. Plus, he likes music and has a drum from Africa made of animal skin with tufts of yak hair. Actually, this is quiet because we use it as a plant stand. I don't think he's quiet, I said. You should hear my stepfather. Is he noisy? I asked. He drinks too much. Too much root beer makes me burp. Does he burp? Megan smiled again, so I knew she was happy. Yes, she said. I'll have to ask my dad, I said, because I remembered my dad had said that I shouldn't spend too much time with Megan because she was tough. Yeah, I don't think he likes me too much, she said. He thinks you're tough. Megan laughed. That's why I like you. You don't pretend, you're honest. This is called a compliment. My special ed teacher told me I should return compliments. I like that you don't smell, I said. I told Megan I'd tell her the next day if Dad said yes. Megan said again that if I had a data plan, I could text. Megan likes to text. She also likes Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. She has 201 friends on Facebook. She says it is easier to make friends on the computer. This must be true because Megan doesn't have 201 friends at school. She doesn't talk much to people at school. I didn't have a data plan, so I said I would email. Megan looked up at the sky. While Dad was making dinner, I asked him if kids who were average in type, appearance, achievement, function, and development had sleepovers. He stood at the stove making chicken noodle soup. I do not mind the smell of chicken soup. He put the spoon down and then picked it up again. I guess, he said. Then I asked if someone could stay overnight on Friday. Spirals of steam rose, fogging the kitchen windows. The water bubbled with a plop, plop, plop. The air was warm and damp. Megan? I nodded. He threw dry Chinese noodles into the soup. They hissed and fizzled. You sure she's not using you? I said nothing, because I didn't know what he meant by using, as I am not a tool like a shovel or a knife or a hammer. I'll think about it, he said. He continued to chop the carrots with quick, repetitive motions. Then he threw them into the pot so that they plopped and splashed. This Megan, what do you like about her? He asked after a moment. I tried to find the words, but too many swamped my brain. Instead, I counted the tiles of the backsplash behind the sink. There were 6 rows of 8, 48. I like that she doesn't smell, I said at last. My father inhaled. She doesn't smell? A lot of girls don't smell. Some use smelly shampoos and perfume. And Megan doesn't. No. He put the celery and threw it in. Plop, plop, plop. Why? He muttered, grabbing another celery stick and cutting again with quick, sure strokes. I've always wanted you to have friends, and now you choose the local thug, and all you can say is she doesn't smell. She might murder us in our beds, but she doesn't smell. And, I said loudly, the words I needed to say suddenly clear in my mind. She doesn't do things for gold stars. After dinner, Dad said Megan could come over on Friday. She can come here, he said, but I don't want you going over there. I don't want to go over there, I said. I will tell her tomorrow, although I wish I had a texting plan. Then I could text her. Dad was washing dishes. The smell of chicken soup still lingered. Are you getting into this high-tech stuff? Getting into is slang. It means getting involved in. Yes, it is easier to make friends, I said. Megan has 201 friends. She would. He looked at me and pushed a damp strand of hair from his face. He opened his mouth and then closed it. After that, he turned off the tap and poured a second cup of coffee from the pot. A drop of coffee fizzled on the hot plate. He took the cup to the table and sat down heavily so that the seat wheezed. I guess I'd best go over the rules. Yes, I said. I like rules. They make me feel safe, like seat belts in cars and railings around high balconies. I'm not sure about Facebook, but I guess we could set you up with texting and your own email on your phone. And the rules, I said? Never give out your real name online. Never give out your address. Never give out your age or other identifying information. He stirred his coffee. I watched the wisps of steam rise. I didn't know what identifying information meant. Dental records? That is how they identify people after a plane crash. Or DNA and fingerprints. I said this to Dad and he left, so I guess I made another joke. He said it meant that I must not give out any information that might allow someone to find me, like my real name or address. But why wouldn't I want them to find me? I asked. He went to the fridge for cream. Sometimes bad people go on the internet and pretend to be kids when they're really adults. You know, they pretend to be something they're not. Like my preschool teacher being a witch at Halloween, I said. He ran his fingers through his hair. Not exactly. Just remember, don't give out your personal information on the internet. It's not safe. And never agree to meet someone that you've only met online. Is that a rule? I asked. Yes, actually there was a pamphlet at the library about this stuff. I thought it might be useful. He got up and started to rummage through the drawer where we kept papers like warranties and manuals. Here. He gave me a pamphlet with the heading, Keep Your Child Safe Online, and a picture of two kids hunched over a laptop. Thanks, I'll read it later, I said. Dad nodded, sitting. I guess it's, Megan who told you about this stuff. I nodded. I mean, I guess it's good. All the kids are doing it, he said. Good? Normal. You mean average in type, appearance, achievement, function, and development, I said. Dad was silent for a second. He stirred his coffee and then laid the wet spoon on a napkin. Yeah, I guess it is, he said. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed Chapter 6. Please join me when I read the next chapter, Chapter 7.